All right, as you see, we're restocking the rat supply. We got everything we need from our fresh pelletized bedding to our kiln dried pine bedding to our stall refresher. We got our storage bins and tubs, and we're just going to get that stuff restocked and refilled. Doesn't take very much to do so, so we're going to get that done real quick. I like to use these big Rubbermaid totes, but I can take it and split it and be done with it. Fill the tub up. Make sure there's nothing left in the bag. Shake it real good. And bam. Next we'll hit the stall refresher. Only pop a corner of that and make it so we can pour. Use the handle. And we just fill that bucket right back up. Stall refresher can be very dusty, unfortunately. See what I mean? Look at the dust just rising. And try to get it down in there so it doesn't create as much dust. And bam, refill the stall refresher. Now everybody sets their cages and racks up differently, and I recommend setting your rack and cage up to how it's best to suit you. But in this case, as you see, we went with the ARS rodent rack because we got tired of dealing with the cement tubs and dealing with rodent chew outs or having to worry about rodent chew outs. We were working 70 hours a week, and the ability to be in these cages, making sure there's no chew outs and feedings and all of that just made it really tough. So we saved up the cash from the extra rats and we produced and acquired the wonderful ARS rodent rack. All right. One of the most detailed things I can tell you about breeding your own rodents is because you're dealing with the sweet PDZ, you're dealing with mammals that shed their fur. You got a really dusty situation. So, usually twice a week, we come in and make sure everything is dusted down. And we use a variety of different things. But one of the best things that we found was an old paintbrush that we had laying around that we weren't using. And this became our little broom. And we just dust this off, knock everything back in, keep everything nice and tidy, and that helps keep everything nice and clean. And as you can see, just from that little bit, it's already looking spiffy. Maintenance, keeping everything up to date is one of the most important things you can do when you got your equipment, and keeping equipment is maintaining your equipment, proper care and husbandry. So anyway, back to setting up to the cages. The way we got our cages set up, the first top three here are going to be our breeders. And in our breeder racks here, we got three females, 1, 2, 3, all the way across to one male. And we allow them to continuously colonize and breed throughout. We don't worry about pulling the moms and so forth because the other females pretty much keep the male pretty much satisfied and occupied, and it keeps a continuous supply of rodents from each tub. And as the females begin to slow down their production of their litters, we'll go ahead and retire those. And with that being said, it's going to drop down a little bit to the very next two, and that's where we start getting into the basics. So this is where we start separating and growing our rodents. So the first two tubs are going to be our grow outs, as I like to call it. We have females to the left, males to the center, And then to the far right here, we got all our juvenile pups in small rodents that haven't been sexed yet. We keep those there. Very bottom center is where we keep the medium males, females that we haven't sexed yet. And from there, they'll move up to the next two tubs and we'll rotate males and females out by age and production as needed. That way we're not wasting any food or litter or anything of that by not producing a sufficient amount of rodents per month. All right, now we're gonna get in here and get these cages cleaned up and I'm gonna show you how we do it. All right, get you guys up close, show you what a week's worth of dirty cages of rodent breeding will do. We got one of our females there, located in the back, sitting there eating because we do a lot of top feeding. And we also separate each tub, allowing us to keep track of who's consuming the most food. All right, this is our group of grow outs here, sleeping in the corner. All right, guys, it's feeding time for the rodents. Our rodent rack is rear fed, and we got our troughs divided into individual racks. Each individual racks gets 3 horse scoops of feed, and this is enough for 4 or 5 days. Make sure everybody gets pushed down in there real good. And wham, done. Great part about this is this bad boy is on casters. So makes it easy to put it back in place. Last thing we gotta do is fill up the rodents, water jug there, and we're good to go. Final step that we gotta do, or that we do when we're cleaning up and finishing up the rat rack, is we top off the water dish. This water dish will hold 5 gallons, and we fill it up, every bit of that. Just keep filling it up till we get done where we need to be. Last gallon of water topped off, and these guys will be good to go. Let's go get one more glass, fill that bad boy up real quick. Believe it or not, the rodents drink so much water in a week or a day. It's one of the things that you absolutely cannot afford to let go by, because if you do, they'll quickly dehydrate. So we fill our water reservoir to the top using fresh cold tap water. All right, everybody, this is a part of the video where you can do me that solid and you're going to hit that like button for me. If you like the rodent content that we're putting out for you guys, you're going to hit that like button if you learned something from this video. If you are curious about getting an ARS button, you're going to make sure you go ahead and subscribe to Delmarv Exotics. If you're a snake fan and continue to put out the content that we put out on our vlog, we appreciate every one of you to help grow our channel. We're continuously growing with each video that we put out. We appreciate everybody that stops in and watches and views and clicks and the likes and the comments. We appreciate everyone so much.